Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Another Illini Postgame Show from No One Asked Us. I am half of the host of No One Asked Us, Craig Choate. That is not Logan Lee. That is my buddy Tyler Dixon. We'll introduce him in a little bit. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, this is a Illini Basketball Postgame Show from No One Asked Us. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, all that good stuff. All of our socials are on the pages, including Tyler's. So give us a like and subscribe. Follow us on all our social media channels. Thank you for tuning in. We'll get to the game here in a little bit. It was a little bit of a snoozer. But, Logan away for the night. So I went to the bullpen, called in the closer, Tyler Dixon, buddy from Southern Illinois, and a fellow Saluki. First of all, for those joining us, just kind of an intro, Tyler. Who are you? Where you been? What have you been doing for the last 10 years since we left SIU?
Man, 10 years. You say I'm not Logan Lee. That is one person I've never been lucky enough to be mistaken for is Logan Lee in my lifetime. I former Saluki, almost current Saluki. Last 10 years, I've been a sports writer for a long time, sports editor for a long time. Background is newspapers. I did get my master's at Murray State. So I do have a little bit of racer in me, contrary to what many may think. I taught high school for a little while. I taught journalism in high school. And then for the past 5-6 months, worked at SIU in athletics, sports information. Now kind of looking for that next venture. But yeah, background newspapers. But like you said, I'm a sports guy. I've been around basketball most of my adult life. I don't know. I saw your Pinckneyville Panthers last night, by the way. Fun fact.
Hell yeah. Heck yeah.
And big basketball fan, but super excited to hop on and talk some Illinois tonight.
Yeah, so Tyler knows his stuff. He's been in the business for a long time. He is not Illinois centric. He has no loyalties to Illinois, so it's an outsider perspective. I don't know how much. I honestly don't know how much Illinois he's watched up until tonight, but I asked him this morning to hop in, so he watched tonight's game and can give us a little bit of an outside perspective as opposed to me and Logan. And while we're here, I'll just tell you, Logan's not going to let you stay. I don't know if you can see the comments here. Logan's going to wants his seat back already.
That's fine. That's fine. He can. I'm more than willing to give it back to him. Yeah.
All right. So for the game, Indiana beats Illinois 80-65. Comes into State Farm Center and just controls the game from the tip. Illinois jumped out to the 4-0 lead. Woodson called timeout, and from then on, it was a clinic. I think someone just said, in the comments here, a clinic by Indiana, specifically Tracy Jackson-Davis. I think the closest Illinois got it was 8, I believe, early in the second half, and then Indiana went on another run. Just not Illinois' night in any way, shape, or form. Running through Illinois stats, Terrence Shannon Jr. did have a pretty good night. 26 points, 8 of 18 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3, 6 of 10 from the free throw line, and 3 assists. 4 turnovers for him as well. So he did have a couple mistakes there. Only other person in double figures was RJ Melendez. He was 4 of 8 from the field. Also had 4 rebounds. Nice sign of life there from RJ, who has struggled quite a bit in recent weeks. Coleman Hawkins, Dane Danger with 9. Sincere Harris with 8. Jaden Epps with 3. Matthew Meyer puts up a goose egg. No points for Matthew Meyer tonight. 0 of 4. He has been the best player for Illinois in this 4-game win streak. 0 of 4 from the floor tonight for Matthew Meyer in 22 minutes. The story of the night, though, is not Illinois. It is Tracy Jackson-Davis. 38 points on 15 of 19 shooting, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 35 minutes. Did I say 38 points? Whatever. 35 points for him. We were talking before we started here. I believe he was 11 for 11. From the field. I believe it was 11. It could have been more, but that's the story of the game, right?
Yeah. I mean, you lose by 15. I know snoozer, not what you want. And after the start, and I know 3-4 game winning streak, you come out I don't think Illinois played bad. Like I'm not going to come away from this and be like, oh, man, Illinois sucks. Like I'm not going to come away thinking that I'm going to think, man, Illinois didn't play great, but Trace Jackson-Davis did what Trace Jackson-Davis does, I feel like. I'm not hugely familiar with the Big Ten, but I'm familiar enough to know he is someone to be reckoned with. I was looking at, so me being the former SID, I was looking at the game notes for this game, and I did see when Illinois has a 20-point score, they are 10-1. And so I was keeping an eye on Shannon Jr. I'm like, is he going to hit that point? Is he going to get over there? And he did, but like you said, I mean, 38% from the field, that's not obviously what you want. 8 of 19 from three, that's solid. The 9 of 23 from the line, I mean, that's something that he's obviously going to address. But again, I don't think Illinois played bad, and that's not what I'm going to take away from tonight at all. That I saw that I think Mike DeCourcy had him as a 9 or something.
He did,
at this coming into this one, and I think that's fair. Do I think Indiana kind of moves up? Probably, but again, I'm not going to come away thinking that's a bad basketball team.
Yeah. You got into some of the stuff I was going to next with the team stats.
Yeah.
I mean, Indiana shot 62% from the field. They had 46 points in the paint, I believe, 54 points in the paint. And Illinois shot 39% from the field, 39% from the free throw line. I mean, you look at the box score and the final score agrees with the box score. Like, I feel like so often we look at box scores and we like, how did this team win this game when all that? But this is one of those times where the final score really kind of does line up with what the box score says.
I mean, rebounding 39-27, defensive 30-13. I mean, like you said, it's not one of those games where, not to switch over to football, but you look at football and you see a team that doesn't dominate time of possession, doesn't do what they need to do, and then they win the football game. That would be surprising. Yeah, you look at this, you expect Indiana to win this basketball game.
Yep, and I'm surprised because Illinois at home seems to just be different, and most teams are. Like, most teams in your home court, you're familiar, you're comfortable, you come out and you play well, and Illinois has recently. I mean, except for the Penn State game, and they just came out, they got the first 4 points, and then from then on, Indiana just dominated, and I was just so taken aback by it. I was pretty confident heading into tonight, and I'm normally not a confident Illinois fan. I'm normally on the other side, and I was like, the line 6.5, that tells me something, because I don't think it should be that high. I think it should be 3 or 4. It comes out at 6. That tells me Vegas knows something. It's a sucker line. Take Illinois, and I'm glad I didn't, because I was on the wrong side of tonight.
I mean, you said they jumped out to 4 elite, and it's a super small sample size, but those first 4 points, man, Illinois, they're getting after it. Like, they're pressuring, they're doing what they need to do. Like, this is going well. Mike Woodson calls that timeout, and gone. Indiana was gone. It got to 10. What'd you say, 8 in the second half?
I think it was 8 in the second half.
Did you ever feel like, this may be a dumb question, did you feel like Illinois was out of it early on?
No. I didn't feel like it was over until they got it to 8, and then I think Indiana went on another run. I'm trying to look at the play-by-play here. Yeah, Illinois scored the first bucket of the second half. It was a 10-point halftime lead. Scored the first bucket of the second half to get it to 8, and then at the under 16 timeout, it was back to 16. That's kind of when I was like, okay, this probably isn't in the cards, because they got it to 8, and then was that the technical? Yeah.
Oh,
yep. That was a technical on Brad with 17 minutes left, 16:52. And it got back to 13, 14, 15 free throws there, and then back. Yeah. That's when I kind of lost it.
They won what, 4 in a row? I had their
Illinois was on a 4-game winning streak. Indiana was on a 4-game losing streak, then beat Wisconsin on Saturday to break that losing streak. So this is 2 in a row for Indiana.
I mean, Illinois, I don't know. It's kind of hard to gauge because you're not going to have a dude that comes out and throws down 35 every night and shoots 85% from the field. I mean, it's hard to kind of measure up against another. I mean, I heard him say, I heard Bardo say that it's Zach Edey and Jackson-Davis is like the front runners for Big Ten Player of the Year. And I mean, other than Edey, I don't feel like there's another dude that can come out and drop 30, 35.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. I think Shannon could. He could. I think Chris Murray. Yeah, Chris Murray. His brother was Keegan. The Murray brother that's still at Iowa that didn't get drafted last year.
Yeah.
I think he could. He's having a really good year. But, yeah, there's only a couple. I think this was a National Player of the Year performance by Tracy Jackson-Davis. But that leads me to the biggest thing from Illinois was poor coaching from Brad Underwood tonight. When the dude starts 10 of 10, 11 of 11, how do you not change something?
Man,
something ain't working. Let's make an adjustment and maybe try and double the guy.
I mean, okay, let me pull up this. So he had 35, 15 and 19, 15 and 19. Yeah. You have, and he started 11. I mean, how you don't, I mean, first half, he bodied up Danger. And like he wasn't even there. And Danger is a pretty decent sized dude. And he just went over him like he was nothing. I'm like, you gotta help him a little bit. You gotta put somebody else over there. Like you said, I mean, he is a Player of the Year candidate. He starts out 2 of 2. You switch up your game plan. You're like, okay, it could be that kind of night. And I mean, again, you hold him to 20, let's say 25. It's a 5-point game. And I mean, that can swing in your favor super easily. Yeah. You hold him 25, Illinois could potentially win this game.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we've seen that from Underwood a lot. He's a little stubborn. He's a little bit stubborn. And I know I don't have the KenPom pulled up, but at least by reputation, Indiana's not a great outside shooting team. So if you double off of a shooter, they're likely not going to hit the shot. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick there. 3-point efficiency here. Okay, maybe they've changed. They're 42nd in 3-point percentage on KenPom. So maybe that's changed. So maybe that was the scout that maybe stay with them. But still, 35 points. You're not going to win many games when you give that up, and you only have one guy score double figures. So
yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about before we get to the chat is Matthew Meyer. I mean, he came in averaging close to 20, at least 17 points in the last 4 games, and 0 from him. I know you don't watch a ton of Illinois, so you probably weren't focusing on him like we were. But to get 0 from the dude that's leading your team is What's that?
I know they mentioned him during the broadcast, and I have watched at time. I watched a little bit. I've watched bits and pieces, but yeah, I knew he was a factor coming in, and for him not to be a factor,
yeah. Me and Logan talked about that in the post game on Monday night. I believe Monday night. Yeah, I said, does Illinois only go as far as the combo of Shannon and Meyer can take them? Like, does Illinois need 35 combined from Shannon and Meyer every night to make a run? We kind of both agreed that not really, because there were other pieces, but this might say otherwise.
I mean, I feel like you do have Hawkins that does his job. I don't know what his average is. Just seeing what he does on the floor, I feel like he could get a little bit more than 9.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. 26 from Shannon. I feel like he was doing a lot. I don't know what Sincere is. That Sincere?
Sincere, yeah.
Usually does on offense. I know there were a couple times I felt like he was a little bit just going.
Yeah, that's what he is. He's like an energy. He doesn't bring a whole lot offensively. He's like
yeah.
I
noticed that whenever he doinked those 2 free throws.
Yeah.
But man, Craig, I love to hate things. It is really like I'm trying to find something like, man, they did this really poor. Like they shot really bad from the free throw line.
They were 12 of 24 for layups. They were 50% on layups.
That's not awesome. Okay, you hit 3 more layups and you hold TJD to 10 less, you win the game. I think this is it's tough. You want Underwood to make adjustments, but I don't know if this is, oh man, we need to rewrite everything kind of thing. I think this was a not anomaly, but this is Jackson-Davis having a night kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I mean, normally if it was a 15-point loss, normally like 90% of the time, I would be like beating doors down, like crying and hit myself to sleep. But I'm really not, because it was a game of the year performance by Tracy Jackson-Davis. I mean, he was just phenomenal.
I don't know. I mean, you're somewhat of an NBA historian like myself. I don't know if the night that Kobe scored 81, that if the Lakers won or not. I don't remember, but I'm sure the other team that lost was like, the dude scored 81. Like, come on, like, it's okay.
Yeah,
like we're not, kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. We've kind of recapped the game. Let's get some chat questions here. Thank you for joining us. We are live. If you have something to throw in the chat, we'll try and pick a couple out here. I haven't been keeping an eye out, so it's going to be kind of just seat of my pants here. The best ones. From Kai, must win for Indiana. They punched us in the mouth and we weren't ready. I would say it was more of a needed win for Indiana than Illinois, so that definitely could be it. Let's see if there's a couple more here. A lot about TSJ, or not TSJ. That's Terrence Shannon. TJD. A lot about TJD. Bright spot for Illinois from Brant, loyal viewer, I believe. Thank you, Brant. Bright spot, only 9 turnovers for Illinois versus 17 for Indiana. Yeah, I mean, that's another. Go ahead.
The pressure was a factor in the second half, and that's whenever midway through the second half, I think it got to 10, and that's whenever. I mean, they forced back-to-back. It was back-to-back 10-second calls. How often do you see back-to-back 10-second calls in college basketball? I mean, the pressure was doing its job.
Yeah, and that was too when Indiana had how many other guys? They had 3 guys with 4 fouls.
Yeah,
Hood Schifino and Trey Galloway. So when they left the court for foul trouble, that's when the pressure came. Comment here, I'm just done with this team this year. This is one of those seasons when nothing really gels consistently. I don't know who to blame. Hopefully we make it to the tournament. It's getting to that point. I wouldn't go that far yet. I mean, we talked earlier, DeCourcy had him as a 9 seed, a couple more losses, and you're right on the bubble. Like 2 weeks ago, they were on the bubble. I don't know that they're on the bubble right now. I think the Big Ten is going to be such a dogfight because you've got Purdue. They're going to be first. And I think it was Matt Norlander from CBS just tweeted this, or someone just tweeted this, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who. They had, the meme or whatever of Purdue at the top, like a dash line, 12 Big Ten teams, a dash line, and Minnesota. Because it's clear Purdue's the best, Minnesota's the worst. The other 12 are all very similar.
Yeah.
Anyone could finish anywhere.
This comment makes me feel like it's a Kentucky chat. I don't. Like I said, I don't feel like it's time to throw in the towel. I remember exactly. This is a little bit off topic, but it goes along the Underwood. I remember exactly where I was whenever you texted me. Whenever you were on the track of that day of his hiring, I remember like texting you like, "Hey, like this person's coming in, like this person's leaving." Like I remember that whole interaction, and I remember
who are we talking about?
whenever Underwood was hired, and you and I were texting about like airplanes coming into Champaign or whatever, and I was like, and I remember exactly where I was when you're like, this is who it is. I'm like, okay, but no, I don't. I liked him before. I like Underwood now. Again, we know how I love to hate things. I like Brad Underwood.
Yeah. We already touched on free throws. Apparently Gonzaga lost tonight to Loyola. Was it Loyola Marymount that's in their conference?
Oh yeah,
that was at the Kennel too.
DePaul beat Xavier tonight by, I think it was 74-73, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. Brian, loyal watcher. TJD is the player Coleman Hawkins wishes he could be. I think TJD is more of a post player. Yeah, I could see some, but I think Coleman's more of an outside stretch 4, 5.
Yeah.
He plays in the paint.
Yeah, I would agree with that probably.
Okay, this could be something here. Michael is a loyal listener, viewer. Thank you, Michael. Brad just said that Matt was sick. That could explain quite a bit.
Yeah.
Could explain quite a bit.
Is that another reason? Okay, so does that change? Let's say that you're an erratic fan for a hot second. If you know that he was sick, does that change your outcome on this game? Or are you whatever?
I
know it's an easy.
I don't think it changes anything. I mean,
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I don't think it changes anything. I mean, if he's sick, he's sick. What did he play? He played 22 minutes, I believe. 22 minutes. That's a little bit less, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know that hindsight is looking too much into the past. Another one from Brian. Maybe not for the players, but for the fans. Losing to Mizzou, Northwestern, and Indiana all in the same year by a combined 50 points is just mind-numbing. Yeah. Yeah, that's like 3.
I can't speak on that one, but from your face, I know that one is rough.
Yeah, and that was like Twitter.com today was, and I didn't see the specific stuff, but apparently Indiana fans don't consider Illinois a rival. And I think Illinois fans really do consider Indiana maybe the biggest rival. So I don't know if that was Indiana fans trying to get under the skin or just mess around, because they were saying how like Purdue's a bigger rival and Michigan's a bigger rival, and like Illinois is like their 4th biggest rival when Illinois considers Indiana like their biggest, which Northwestern and Mizzou are right up there with Indiana and Illinois eyes.
I was going to ask you about the whole rivalry thing, but I just kind of assumed it was a pretty good rivalry. I mean, I've known the Kentucky-Indiana rivalry was fun at times, super annoying, but like it's still fun at times. And I just kind of assumed Illinois-Indiana. I assumed that was up there.
Yeah, I mean, historically it is. And just yesterday I went back because one of my buddies asked about all-time series records for Illinois against other Big Ten teams. Illinois' record against Indiana is now 91-95. So, I mean, it's right there. Historically, it's been that way. But you got to think, from 2013 to 2020, like for 8 years, 9 years there, Illinois wasn't very good. So the rivalries kind of change. And then Indiana wasn't very good up until last year when Woodson got there. They made the tournament. So it's kind of like, they're kind of each not reevaluating, but reigniting kind of the rivalries. And you don't really know. Like, to me, I think if you were to ask me who Illinois' biggest rival is right now in basketball, I would probably say Iowa right now. Just because the last couple of years, 2 years ago, or was it last year? No, it was 3 years ago. The last game of the season before COVID shut everything down was Illinois-Iowa. Illinois beat Iowa to it kind of cemented their tournament berth, even though the tournament got canceled and all that. And then last year they beat Iowa to win a share of the Big Ten title. And just all the games have been so heated, both here or in Champaign and Iowa City. I think I would consider Iowa Illinois' biggest rival, but Indiana's right up there.
Bet Fran was mad. Was Fran mad? Bet he was
FranCon
so mad.
10. FranCon 10. Yeah.
So angry.
All right, let's see if we can get a couple more in here.
Yeah.
Got to remember. We got someone said they saw it coming from a mile away. Indiana was hungry, needing this one badly. Unfortunately, we were due for that L. I would agree. Indiana came in with their tails on fire. Illinois came in riding high, and I don't want to say overlooked Indiana. I definitely don't think that's the case. But I think they wanted it a little bit more.
Man, you would
Here's
really
some Indiana Illinois talk. Indiana fans are delusional, just like most of us. It's about a 500 series. They get bullied by Purdue and Michigan over the past few years. Michael, again, bigger rivalry when Henson and Knight. Yeah, like we were talking in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, for sure. All right. I think that's going to do it from the chat. Thank you for tuning in. I don't have anything else on the rundown right now. So what's your takeaways? I know I introduced you and said you're not, and you've kind of mentioned it on here. You're not an Illinois fan. You're not connected to this program in any way, shape, or form. So leaving tonight after watching one full game from Illinois, what do you like about this team?
I mean, I do think they're scrappy. I mean, I know that's – I mean, you've been in sports talk land for a long time like I have. I mean, I don't – oh, man, I'd hate to think about how many teams you and I have described as scrappy over the years. But, I mean, they force pressure. I mean, they hit ridiculous shots at times. I do think – I don't think they're a bad basketball team. I feel like they did everything that they needed to do. Free throw line, yes. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I feel like Coleman could do a little bit more. I don't know what Danger could do offensively, but I think that could be an interesting piece because, I mean, obviously I watched a lot of Oscar Tshiebwe, and that looks like similar body styles. And, yeah, it's a team that I feel like in the tournament, if you caught – that second game, first weekend where you're kind of still tired after that first game and you're coming into like that Saturday 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock game and you face an Illinois team, I could see that being a concern because, hey, they're scrappy, they're hungry, they're going to come after you, they're going to pressure you early on. I could see that being where they kind of strike. And if that's where DeCourcy has them, I could see that being a thing going forward. Yep.
Danger he had 20 and 7 a couple games ago. So
that's nice.
He has some better post moves than Kofi. Like there are moments where you go, Kofi cannot do that. He's quick. He's a lot quicker than Kofi, less powerful. Next up, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, I believe, 6 o'clock Central for the Illini. Ohio State at the State Farm Center. That game's on ESPN. Ohio State, another team that is absolutely reeling right now. They lost to Nebraska last night. They've lost 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. And they play Iowa on Saturday. So could be 6. But that's next up for the Illini Tuesday night against Ohio State at the State Farm Center. You got anything else, Tyler?
No, I'm good. This was fun.
All right.
I'll give Logan a feedback, but it was still fun. It was still fun.
I appreciate you hopping on, like an outsider's perspective every once in a while. So someone that hasn't watched every single Illinois game this season, I really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in and joining us, everyone in the chat. Like and subscribe, rate and review on Apple and Spotify and all that stuff. And I'll have another post game for you on Tuesday. I got someone else filling in for Logan next week on Tuesday. I think me and Logan are going to do our weekly show sometime this weekend to recap some other stuff. But thanks again to Tyler for filling in. For Tyler, I'm Craig. See you next time.